Asiva, this is LaserBolt, and what is up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a wonderful time. Once again, guys, we're still recovering. We're a little bit under the weather, but we're slowly getting better. So hopefully, the videos will start coming out more often. As you guys know, I've been a little bit away from making videos just because I've been so sick. But now we're back, guys, and Rainbow Six Extraction is just around the corner. We're like about 8 days away, but I wanted to go ahead and dive in and talk about a little bit about what you can expect out of the game, who the operators are, the abilities, the weapons, and we're gonna have like a mini series as it leads up to the game to give you guys the complete breakdown of every single thing that you need to know. So when the game comes out, you're gonna be able to participate into the whole Rainbow Six Extraction. One cool thing about the game is that it has a thing called a buddy system, which I'll have a separate video going about how it works, but basically allows you to bring two of your friends to play the game for free. And like I said, we'll have a separate video explaining exactly how all that works. So if all this sounds like something you guys are definitely interested in and enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, a like would be greatly appreciated, guys. It does help us a lot with the algorithm, so we would really appreciate it if you guys did help us with that like. So let's start off with today. Today we're going to be talking about the operators. Now there are a ton of operators in this game, guys. I believe there's between 14 to 15 operators, and there are a ton. And operators are going to be playing a very crucial role in the game because the thing is, if you guys know, and I'll explain this in other videos, is that if you are in the extraction zone and you're playing the game, and for some reason your operator dies and he does not get rescued, you pretty much lose your operator. The only way you're able to get your operator back is if you actually go and extract your operator from like a special mission. So it is very crazy. You're going to want to make sure you pick your operators correctly and you pick the ones that you need for a specific mission and for different maps, because that's going to be very important. So let's start off with the first one called Technaka, and he is pretty buff, pretty build. He is Lord Technaka. He's ready to take on an alien invasion, and his abilities is that he's able to deploy a mounted LMG that other players can use as well. So not only is he able to use that LMG, but he's also able to give that advantage to other players as well. And he starts off with the weapon, the SAS 12 semi-automatic shotgun. The next character we have, guys, is called Fuse. Now, Fuse is pretty crazy because his ability is he's able to deploy a remote detonating charge that sticks on a wall that releases a cluster of grenades on the other side. So basically, you plant the grenade on the wall, but on the opposite side of the wall, that's where the grenades actually do damage, which is really cool. I think once you go ahead and survey the area or the map or the level that you're in, if there's enemies behind that wall, this should be very powerful. Now, he starts off with the 6P41 light machine gun. That's his main weapon, and he is pretty good. Next up, we have Capitayo. Now, the cool thing about him is that he is from Brazil. And in addition to that, he has the abilities to shoot silent bolts that detonate on impact. So basically, these are going to be non-detected, very stealthy play that you'll be able to shoot the bolts and cause damage and death to whoever you're throwing. Of course, the aliens. Bolts can be either smokescreen or venom. So really good if you're going to try to traverse to an area and don't want to get detected. You can put on that cloud of smoke, or you can just pretty much bring someone down without being detected. Now, he starts off with a weapon, which is called the Para 3008 assault rifle. So he's going to be a very stealthy type of character. Next up, we have Rogue. Now, Rogue's abilities are the following. He's able to drop armor packs for teammates to use. This is going to be extremely important because as you progress throughout the game, if you want to get a little bit ballsy and you want to make sure you do the whole 3 different levels at the same time, you're going to want to make sure you have someone and your team that's able to drop you these armor packs in case your armor is coming down or being depleted. And he's going to be that type of player. He's going to allow you to drop armor packs not only for himself, but also for his teammates. Anyone who has armor becomes down rather than knocked out. So that's really awesome because remember, like I said, if you are knocked down, you're going to have to go retrieve your character, or your teammates are going to have to retrieve your operator. So having him on your side is going to be awesome because if you have armor, you're just going to go down. You're not going to be knocked, which is really cool. He starts with a P90 submachine gun, which is a really good weapon. So he is going to be one of like the top players or top operators to be used. All right, so next up, guys, we have Jagger. Now, Jagger's ability is pretty crazy. He's going to be able to deploy a turret that can attack enemies as well as intercept projectiles. So it's pretty much you get 2 of both bullets. Not only do you get the ability to cause offensive damage, which is going to be able to shoot at enemies that are coming away, but anytime the aliens start throwing stuff at you, this is also going to be able to shoot those projectiles out of the air, avoiding you to get get hit or get shot by these projectiles. Now he starts with a M870 shotgun, so he's really good for close range, and that turn down is going to be awesome, allowing you to have that mid-range, long-range ability and hold a section down. All right, so the next one we have, guys, is called IQ. Now, she's able to detect, react equipment through obstacles. So basically, it's kind of having like your sonar or having a wall scanner, so you can know exactly where these equipments are without having to step over them or trigger them. That way, you're going to be able to notify where to go and where not to go. She starts off with the AUG assault rifle, so once again, mid-range, close-range combat here, but allowing you to be, if you're going to go with the stealthy route, you're definitely going to want to have her in your team so you know exactly what to avoid and what not to step on. The next one we have, guys, is called Gridlock. Now, she personally is able to do a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm going to primarily use her for zoning, which is going to allow us to set, her ability is that she's able to set ground traps, and the cool thing about these traps is not only are they able to trap damage the enemy, but they also slow down the enemies for a certain period of duration. So that means that if you're holding out a zone or you're trying to get through an area and you're trying to make sure that you don't get flanked or you don't get pushed from the back, you set these traps up, and the enemies, not only will they get damaged, but they will also get slowed down, and giving you the ability to kind of make that kind of flip around and be like, yo, we're getting flanked, and they're not pushing as fast as they probably would. Now she starts off with an F90 assault rifle, so once again, mid-range, close-range combat as well. All right, so the next character we have, guys, is Nomad. Now, she's able to fire proximity mines that knock back down enemies and clear the area of hazards. Now, it's going to be really important because as of right now, you're probably saying, well, it doesn't seem like we're going to be needing her a lot because all she does is fire proximity mines, and all they do is knock down the enemies. But the key thing here is being able to not only do that, but also clear the areas of hazards. This is going to be extremely important because once you start playing the game, you're going to notice that the game does have a lot of hazard zones, and having the ability of being able to clear these hazard zones is going to be extremely important, especially if you're able to do it very fast and easily. Now, she starts off with the AK-70M assault rifle, so she does start off with a very powerful weapon. Once again, mid-range close combat. Next up, guys, we have Smoke. Now, he in particular is pretty much what his name says. He has the ability to throw smoke grenades that are remotely detonated. Now, he starts off with the L85A2 assault rifle, so he does going to have a lot of cool things when it comes to transgressing through the map without being detected. All right, next up we have Ella. Now, for example, Ella, I'm a little bit on the fence with her. Her abilities that she's going to be able to throw sticky proximity mines that are going to stun any enemy. Now, that sounds pretty good, but I am still kind of on the fence. The only thing that I think she has going for her are the weapon. She's able to spawn in with a Scorpion EVO3 machine gun, so that might be the reason why I probably would mess around and see if Ella is very potent on team comp, but we're going to have to see if that's a thing. Next up, we have a very interesting character from the other ones we've seen, which is called Sledge. Now, Sledge, his ability is he's able to pull out his hammer, which can be used to stun enemies as well as create holes in the environment. So he's going to be someone that's going to be very interesting because not only is he going to help you traverse the map differently, but he's also going to give you escape routes that you might not be able to have if you don't pick him as a character. So something very interesting to make sure we keep in mind that if we do pick up Sledge, he's going to give us quite an advantage. Now, he not only does he come out with his hammer, but he also starts off with the M590A1 shotgun. So once again, close quarter combat character right here. You see him being used quite a lot and often. Next up, we have Alibi, and he is able to create, his main ability is he's able to create a decoy that will attract enemies. So pretty good if you just want to make sure you're pulling aggro. He's going to be very important because you can send his decoy somewhere else, drag the enemy that way, and escape or flank around, create distraction. Really effective player. Once they attack the decoy, the enemy will become scanned, so you'll know exactly where they're going to be at and be able to progress and to move around that way. Not only are you going to be able to send them out as a decoy, but you can also send them out kind of like scavenge the area to know where the enemies are at. Now, he starts off with the MX4 Storm submachine gun, so it might be a very interesting character, once again, for that close quarter combat. Next up, we have a Lion. Now, Lion's able to do the following as well. His main ability is able to detect all moving targets in an area of effect that lasts for a little while. He's pretty much going to be able to have like a little radar or sonar device, personal sonar device or personal radar that's going to allow you to detect any moving target. So if they're standing still, you won't be able to know, but if they're moving, you'll be able to know where they're at. Now he starts off with the V308 assault rifle, so a very interesting weapon. I don't know if we're going to be using quite a lot of him in action, but we're going to have to see how the game plays out if it does become very viable on being able to detect those moving targets. Next up, guys, we have Vigil. Now Vigil is really interesting because he seems to be one of those players that you're going to want to make sure you constantly have, especially if you're traversing through the map without wanting to be detected, because his ability is that he's able to become invisible to enemies for a little while. So he's able to go in this, which is going to not only make him invisible, but it's going to make him undetectable to the enemy. So it's actually pretty cool. Now, he does start off with the K1A1 machine gun. So how long that active cam will last, we're going to have to find out how viable it is and how long you're able to get it back. Next up, guys, we have Hibana. Now, for her in particular, her ability is able to fire sticky explosives that stick to all surfaces and can be remotely detonated. Explosions can penetrate armor, which is going to be really important because there are going to be some characters that are going to be armor specific. So she's going to be a very important character to have fighting certain type of enemies. So she's going to be very situational, especially on the map. Whatever map you have that there are a lot of enemies with armor, being able to knock those armors fast is going to be crucial. So having her on your side is going to be really dope. Now she does start off with a Type 89 assault rifle, so making her a mid-range, close-range combat very viable. Next up, we have a character that I feel is going to be very viable and a lot of people are going to be playing, which is called Finka. Now, for her ability is that it gives her teammates a boost to their reactive and survival. So the boost will also revive any down enemy, and teammates are always down instead of knocked out first. So I think a lot of people are going to use her, and she's going to be the one that you do not want to lose in the group because you do not want to lose your operator, and she's going to give you the ability to not go down and get knocked out, instead just go down without losing your operator. Next up, guys, we have Pulse. Now, Pulse is very interesting because he's very similar like Vigil. His ability is he can detect VIPs, MIAs, and enemy nests throughout obstacles. So very similar in the sense of his ability, but he's going to be able to detect different characters. Very important, especially for those late game content and those more harder difficulty levels. Being able to detect where the VIPs are at, MIAs, and the enemy nest is going to be very important as you progress throughout the game. He starts off with the M101 for shotgun, so once again, close range combat for him. Last but not least, guys, we have Doc. Now, Doc is pretty interesting because his main ability, he fires a healing weapon that can heal or revive himself or teammates. So he comes with the ability of being able to revive, bring people back from life or heaven to face the alien atrocity once again. Now he starts off with the SGC QB shotgun, so he's going to be a close range combat, but definitely I feel like he's going to be used quite substantially when it comes to the game, because who doesn't want to have a medic at your side? And there you guys have it, guys. Those are all the operators here in Rainbow Six Siege. Let me know in the comment section below which one stood out to you the most, which one do you think will be mostly playable, and which one do you think will be least playable in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I do hope you guys do support the channel by dropping a like, helping us with the algorithm. In addition to that, guys, if you want to show more love and support, consider subscribing and turning on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.